We're going to do one last example of a switch instruction, and this is also taken from the notes. It's possible to have multiple cases for the same statement and multiple statements for the same case. So we have an example here. Let's copy it, and I'll skip the read line at the bottom. Let's do Control-C to copy that to the clipboard. And then what we're going to do is we're going to flip over to our program, Visual Studio, and we're going to paste it in. Okay, we're back in Visual Studio, and I'm going to scroll up here to the main program, and right below the main program we're going to paste in, I'm sorry, not right below, let's put it in the main program. We don't need to make a function out of this one this time. We've done enough functions. Let's do a closing curly bracket. That should clean everything up. Okay, so in our main program, and let's take that read key and push it down, otherwise we're not going to get to see the results. And I left one instruction out here, I guess, and curly bracket. Okay. So let's take a look at this. We're asking for the name of a team, and we type it in. It's a string, so we don't need to do anything with it. Just read it directly in using a read line instruction. And we're going to set the division equal to an empty string. I think we get a compiler error if we don't do that, so we'll set that to an empty string. And then we have our switch instruction. And it looks at the variable team, the name of the team that we typed in. And if we typed in Vikings, Packers, Bears, Lions, then it will assign division NFC, and it will assign the word north. Now we could have done that one instruction, but I just wanted to show you how you can do two instructions here. So that's where the break is. And if you have a bunch of case instructions here and nothing after the case instruction, then it's like you've got all of these are basically the same label. They're a label for the same chunk of code here. And if this is true, or this is true, or this is true, or this is true, it will still execute all three of these instructions. And the last instruction is a break, which takes you out of the switch, which is down here. The other possible legal team names are Ravens, Bengals, Browns, and Steelers. And if any one of these four is true, because we didn't put anything after it except another case, it all ends up executing this code. So we set division to AFC, and then we add north onto it, and then we break out. Now, if I put this in a function, as it is, I would get an error on the function. If I was returning a division here instead of doing a break, I'd get an error saying that it might be possible not to return anything. So if this is in a function, what you'd probably want to go do is go down here and type in default, and then put your return instruction down there. But this is not in a function like the other ones were, so we don't need to worry about that part. When we get done, it will print out the name of the team, and it will say what division the team is in. So let's go ahead and run this, but before we do, I don't want to execute this code, so let's comment that out. Now let's go ahead and run. I'm going to type in Vikings, hit enter, and it tells me they are the NFC North Division. Go ahead and stop the program, and I see one thing I want to change here. I don't want to do a right line. I just want to do a plain old right, so the cursor stays up on the same line. So Vikings works. So it does this, and it jumps down and executes this code here. I'm going to run it again. I'm going to try Lions, and I should get the same thing. Go ahead and close it. So it's working. And one thing I want to try one more example. And if I don't type in the exact correct letter case with a capital V and everything else in lowercase, it does not work. So what you might want to do here, what you would probably want to do here, is after you read in the team name, either switch it to title case, where the first letter is caps and everything else is lowercase, or just switch everything to uppercase, and then you'd have to change all these to uppercase letters as well. But then you don't have the burden on the user of making sure they type it in exactly the same way that you had it typed in your program. So that's another example of some options with the switch instruction. You can have multiple case labels on the same code, and you can have multiple instructions before you get to the break instruction.